Yeah, man, what is the deal with this kind of no entertainment over the last, year and a half, 2 years thing?
If he was such a bum back then, why did you choose? And I'm just being serious. Why did you choose him?
Good question.
I'm gonna have to think for a second. I don't have an immediate answer.
That was me at 19.
Looking jacked.
That's when we started dating.
People would say that you were on drugs.
So 2 days ago, Mark comes up with an innovation that I think will go down as the most important knee innovation this year.
Someone, everyone has their life and their struggles and what they have to do. So if you're already working a 9-to-5 job and then you go home and on the time that you can be getting ahead and beating out the next guy, you're sitting there watching TV.
So if someone's out there as a couple thinking, oh man, I don't know if we could work together. I love you, but I don't know if we could work together because we're too different. Maybe it's actually the right mix. I don't remember who it was, but someone made it clear to me that every time I'm watching porn, I am supporting that industry. And that hit me too hard, and I cut it out right then and there, and I never went back a day.
Fat Project family, how's it going? Now, we have had so many different guests that have come onto our podcast, and we've talked about meat a lot. And the one thing that everybody that tries Piedmontese says is that it is some of the most tender steak they have ever had. I think actually Sean Baker came on and talked about the lack of connective tissue in the cattle.
Yeah, he broke it down scientifically, but he did.
That's the reason why when whatever cut you get, whether it's a ribeye, whether it's a flat iron, whether it's a bavette, no matter when you cut into that steak after it's cooked, you're not getting any of that chewiness, that
gristle
that you have to spit out because you can't actually chew it. Piedmontese is super tender. They have great cuts that are low fat, high fat for whatever diet you're doing. They're just an overall amazing beef company. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yep, that's over at Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code POWER for 25% off your order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Again, Piedmontese.com, promo code POWER. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
All right, little boy. Podcast time.
What's he chewing on over there? Is this guy eating carbs?
Snacks.
Teething crackers, gluten-free.
Those dissolve so quick.
Organic.
He's bulking.
He's in a bulk.
He's in a bulk. Clean bulk.
There you go.
Awesome. So we got some questions today, and this kind of came about, I think this was more Nsima's idea to kind of investigate this no entertainment thing that you got going on. And I thought it would be great to also include your wife here today because she's part of all of this as well. So yeah, man, what is the deal with this kind of no entertainment over the last, year and a half, 2 years thing?
Yeah, maybe you could break it down, babe.
It was January 1st, 2021 that basically he started no entertainment and kept to it. We haven't watched anything.
She did it with me. She did the whole year with me.
And if you guys, for those that are listening, if you're hearing a bunch of weird extra noises, we got baby Onyx on here today. He's going to try to interrupt and mess things up as much as he possibly can. That's his job. He's a baby. He's the ultimate interrupting machine, as you'll see as your kids get older too.
The idea was to cut out the stuff that we know isn't getting us closer to our goals. We have a kid now, so we know, boom, that's a bunch of time we want to spend with the kid. She is on the business side. I'm on the creative side. We work together super well. And by cutting out the entertainment, it gave us a lot more time to work and to create together.
Right.
But I think it had a lot of ramifications for me personally that it unlocked my creative mind because I wasn't now spending all that time just letting someone else's creation entertain me, So it's different. And I think if I ask this to you, I say, okay, what do you want to get luckier about this year? You have to have something you want, and it has to be measurable. So you say, okay, on the podcast, Andrew would know. Andrew, you could know what a goal is for this year. We want X amount of downloads. Boom. I want to get lucky about that. I consider myself an unlucky guy, so I got to put the work in. You want to get luckier about that. Make it a measurable goal. Now, why do you want to get lucky about that? So for me, okay, I wanted more Instagram followers, but why? Why is because I wanted this data about something as simple as backward sled to be more known. That's my driving why. Then you look at what entertainment do you need to cut out? But the fourth question would be, what technology do you need to increase? Maybe Andrew needs to spend more time studying the top podcasts. So there's a difference between entertainment and technology. Okay.
That's true. Like
Yeah.
if he needed to study some basketball move on YouTube, that's one thing, and he would do that. But it's not like he's watched any game. He watched 0 football, 0 basketball, any actual just TV entertainment. But for work, for sure, he then would go and find what he needed.
And even watching a game on TV is not going to allow you to analyze what you're trying to look at anyway. You need to watch almost like game film or something more specific. You probably need to look at. Oh, yeah, that's true.
That is true.
I agree.
Onyx knows.
But yeah, you got to probably watch from different angles and see the person actually, like their feet and their knees and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, and if you're a basketball player, that's going to be part of the tech that you can take advantage of to study things easier. But I was trying to grow on social media. I'm trying to spread technology about knees. So I was studying people who are succeeding on social media, seeing what are they doing to succeed. People with positive outlooks who aren't blowing up on social media through degraded things, but through positive things, inspiring things. And I learned from them, and I copied my social media strategy after them. So I spent time studying that tech. And I think that's important to realize I'm not anti-technology. I'm not living a life like a monk. I'm just removing the entertainment that I know isn't getting me closer to my goals. Then I actually have more time if I do need to study some technology to get closer to my goals. And then I did the same thing with food. So I looked at what foods do I need to cut out? And then that would be the 5th question. And then the 6th question would be what foods do I need to focus more of? So for me, I focused more on fruit and therefore cut out. Now she could break this down because she knows I didn't have a single, cheat meal. I didn't have any junk food the whole last year.
The whole 2020, no entertainment, no junk food.
And 2021, 2020 and 2021.
Sorry,
No, 2021.
2021.
Okay.
I'm mistaken.
And now rolling into this year, I guess we're into the 2nd month, so I'm still going strong because I really enjoy it.
I was excited for him to be done. I'm like, yay, now we can watch a TV show. I'm not like a big TV person, but there's a couple shows that I really like that I would like to, the seasons are out now. And I'm like, wait a second, because let me explain this. When Ben and I started dating, this is the opposite of what he is now. He literally was a couch potato, like in the sense of he'd work out and then he called it decompressing. He'd just go, watch TV, and eat his food.
How long ago was this, by the way?
I mean, we've been together 11 years, so this is
My only serious relationship, so starting at 19.
Yeah, 2010, we started dating. But literally, go work out and lay on the couch and watch TV. And I'd be like, let's go walk or let's do this. And of course, he had bad knees at this point. So he was saying he already exerted as much as he could for the day and that we couldn't go do anything else. Like,
I didn't want to go be in more pain.
right. And so
Now we walk every
day. I mean, he walks now, he could probably walk 10 miles I'm sure he has with the dog and the baby in a day, after day after day after day after day.
Last year, raising him, everyone in town, they probably think I don't have a job.
Yeah.
I strap him up, morning walks, afternoon walks,
And night
every single
walks.
day. Often.
Well, we know all too well, like the last person you would call, like if you had to move or if you needed like a lot of work done would be like other lifters, like you, because like everyone wants to just chill. Like people don't want to lift anything. So if you're like moving your home or something, while it'd be great to rely on some of the people here at the gym, that everyone's like, oh, my back's pretty tight because I deadlifted yesterday. Like we're kind of useless outside of the gym in a lot of ways.
Totally. So that was him. I mean, he watched so much TV and like didn't eat vegetables. I was telling someone he was starting to eat broccoli. Literally.
I didn't eat much fruit then either.
Didn't eat fruit. He was trying to like navigate and learn. What he's done the best is learn.
Yeah.
Like our life is so different from, even sorry.
Oh, here's a fun fact.
I was going to say
She met Charles Poliquin before I did.
Really?
She went and
Yeah.
learned nutrition from Charles Poliquin. She was on a strict diet before I was. His diet was really strict. You'd go tell him the diet.
yeah, you took out everything. All sugar. Go Onyx. All sugar, all grains, everything. It was nuts and protein for breakfast. I couldn't get onto
Green
like
veggies.
I couldn't do steak for breakfast, but I couldn't. Like I just am not used to that much meat for breakfast.
Yeah, meat and nuts.
Yeah, meat and nuts. But I would eat eggs and nuts. And I was like a girl that liked her eggs and toast, even if it was gluten-free or Ezekiel or something.
I
I liked
switched to
my
avocado you'd have.
Oh, that's right. I'd have avocado, eggs, and almonds for my breakfast.
And I was eating junk.
Yeah.
I'm like, try a piece of this cake, and she wouldn't do it. And after 30 days, she was allowed to introduce blueberries.
That's right. Blueberries. That's it.
Well, Charles Poliquin, he just like killed everybody because he's like, if you're not 10% body fat, you're fat.
Yeah.
That's right. I did biosignature. That's what I went to meet him at.
And he's like, this is the diet. Like if you're on the heavier, in his view, like what he considered to be fat was like, still people are very lean at 12%. And especially women. I mean, it's different for women, but he would say, if you're not 10%, like just don't even bother eating carbohydrates.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, all right. Well, that's pretty harsh, but okay.
So
Those are his principles.
So I lucked out because in terms of the no entertainment thing, she just did it right with me. So that made it super easy. Now on the diet side, she was nursing for him. Now she's 4 months pregnant. She looks stunning, even if you weren't pregnant. And so for that, you just eat what you want.
I eat what I want. But honestly, it makes it like your discipline has to be even stronger because I'm sitting here actually having chocolate cake and he's next to me. Do you know what I'm saying? So I super admire him for that because that wasn't how he used to be. And the fact that I haven't tried to diet once while I've had the baby. So I have had pancakes, chocolate cake, you name it. But I obviously still eat very healthy, but the whole year there's been no restrictions and he's seen all of that.
What I'm curious about is it's really interesting to understand, like, yeah, you were playing basketball, right? It's not like you weren't working, but you weren't as, I guess, disciplined as you are now back then. But you were still having some pretty decent success. So even though you were having good success, what really spurred great success already? Now we're just not gonna watch TV anymore. Like we're not gonna have any entertainment. What spurred that decision to do that?
Well, as a kid, I was actually super dedicated. But then as my basketball career sputtered out, so when she was with me, I didn't play basketball.
Yeah,
I was just a bum.
Yep.
Really?
Like basically it failed at that point. He was like a failure.
I was already a failure.
Oh.
No basketball scholarships, not even playing basketball, not on the team, nothing, like just trying to work out.
Right. When your hard work doesn't give you results, I think any of us can feel like we're lazy.
Now, I'm curious about this. If he was such a bum back then, why did you choose? And I'm just being serious. Why did you choose him?
Good question.
I'm gonna have to think for a second. I don't have an
I
immediate
can answer it
answer.
for
She
you.
didn't think I was a bum.
That's true. I didn't realize. I didn't know all.
Well, we got to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
You've known him since he was a kid.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I've known
You
Ben.
guys know
since-
each other's families a little bit and stuff, right, too?
We went to school together. We were in
Okay,
elementary
yeah.
school together.
So you always known him.
She
You've
was
seen
a
the
serious
drive.
figure skater.
You've seen the drive he had previously, and
That's
I think
true.
you were mentioning, you were like, that's not Ben Patrick, because you didn't see him for a while, right? And then you saw
That's
him, and he
right.
was like disciplined and all fired up and in better shape and stuff, right?
So yes. So I mean, I'll just give you the backstory. He was, I think 5'4", 92 pounds starting high school. Very tiny,
14
very
years old.
skinny, very short.
Not on
very, all of
anybody's
it.
radar to get laid, right?
Thank God she came around.
So basically, he was a little kid. You know, I'm also 2.5 years older than him. So even that, he was younger and smaller and everything. So then we went different ways, different schools. And then I ran into him again. Now he was, I think, 18 at the time. And
I had no legs, but I had bulked up.
that's right.
There we go.
And now he
If
was
you could
like,
see pictures,
Turn the mic
actually
towards
wouldn't-
you. Turn the mic towards you. There you go.
You actually wouldn't believe if you saw pictures.
you wouldn't believe it. So
Yeah.
truthfully, he's like, hey, do you remember me? I'm Ben Patrick. And I was like, I know his name, obviously.
Send us some
but-
pictures, by the way.
Oh, definitely will. And I'm like, there's no
I
way
have one on
you're
my
Ben.
phone. I can find it if you want.
Okay, good.
Find it, yeah.
Send that over.
You like it's amazing. So I'm like, there's no way you're Ben Patrick. Like literally, there's no way. And he's like, yeah, I'm Ben Patrick. And he's like almost 200 pounds at this point, like bigger than he is now. Puffier because obviously had Checkers, which is I don't know what you guys have here, but it's like burgers and shakes to
That
get
was
bigger.
my bulk diet. 2 big Bufords, large shake, large fries.
Checkers. We got to check this place out.
Curious, I've never heard of that.
Oh, that's East Coast. They
Yeah,
call it
sounds
rallies
delicious.
somewhere
Oh,
along
okay,
the line.
okay.
okay.
Anyway, so he was just big and tall, and I'm like, what happened to this guy? And there you go. There, you gotta see
Text
this.
it over.
I'll text here.
Yeah.
Here. Show you guys. So this but there's no
Holy shit.
there's no evidence.
Whoa.
Check out Checkers though.
Holy shit,
But
though.
there's
Like
no-
you were lean and big.
Yeah.
Not
No,
really
dude,
lean.
You had abs, though. No,
That's-
that's, I mean, what the fuck?
He's always had his abs.
Okay.
He's always had abs, but he's definitely like now
But
he's
there
got
was-
his 18
there was
pack
no-
or whatever.
leg muscle at all. There's no pictures. Remember, I would wear long pants.
That's right.
Really scared of my leg because after surgery, sometimes after the atrophy, it's really embarrassing.
If people who see that picture, though,
I'm going to send it to Andrew.
It's going to be very interesting to see if you were to choose to gain muscle again, like just really put on muscle. He'd be big.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I just think you can do anything you set your mind to. Not
True.
that this is that great, but I just think you can improve at anything.
Right. Wow.
So maybe I was failures in certain areas, but I was still trying. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I was painting walls for my dad, and I figured out better ways, faster ways to paint even more accurately. So he'd been painting for decades, and within a year, I had a better painting system. So it's just, I was always, that kind of mindset.
and I was going to say that too. So basically, as kids, we were the only two serious athletes in our little private school. So it was very obvious. Hello, Onyx. It was
I just
kind of
texted him.
natural for when we did meet back up to then discuss all of our different things and
Yeah.
everything that, he had done, I had done.
She was an ultra dedicated figure skater. So when we were kids, like 7, 8, 9, 10, in that age, in our little town, I was the kid dedicated to basketball, already with a work ethic at 9 years old. And she was dedicated to figure skating, super dedicated.
Keeps pulling on our cords over here.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So even though
It's
I was a failure by 1920, we still had that history together.
Wow.
Yeah, we were the only two. We both left every day from school early. When it was PE and art time, I would go skating 5 days a week. He would go to basketball. I would leave at 3, get home at 8, day after day after day. I don't know his schedule, but it was very,
When we started dating, we would meet around 6 a.m.
Yep.
to work out. Then
That's crazy.
that was me at 19.
Looking jacked.
that's when we started dating.
People would say that you were on drugs.
So why was
Yeah.
Straight up.
I got to get back to that level. That's what my goal physique would be getting steroid accusations.
You do want to get bigger, you were mentioning, right?
Now I do. And I've gone through a lot of stuff and don't take any supplements and be dedicated to my craft at knees. But now I do want to gain, now that I've found a good foundation and I feel amazing on the basketball court, I want to maintain that amazing feeling and just lift my whole physique up.
I showed him a little bit of bodybuilding yesterday, just like a little bit of like kind of a drop set type of thing. What'd you think of that?
Well, it was great. And
On a leg press.
yeah, it was great. And in general, Mark's making wonderful improvements to my system by this is what I do. I learned from Charles Poliquin and Louis Simmons, and now I'm learning from Mark Bell. And that the best thing I can do with ATG is that I trust myself not to have ego in it. That's what I do really well, is have no ego and just have no, have a bullshit detector, not lie to myself about what's going to produce results when I see something that improves it. So Mark's been amazing. The program's going to be, it's getting insanely good. She's seen even this year, I've actually put on more muscle, but stayed lean and I'm jumping even higher.
Yep.
So it's really dialing in now by adding Mark's knowledge with Louis Simmons and Charles Poliquin.
You know what I love about what you were mentioning though there, man, and we can get into a lot of stuff, but you have studied, and I want to kind of ask you guys, when you said that you were going through and you're going to Charles Poliquin seminars and all of that, I want to know what your work kind of timeline was, how long you were spending going to these things and how that was with you. But one thing about you too is that you have this amazing system that you set up because you did the research, you learned those things, you experimented, and you also learned from other people, but you're still out here continuing to learn from other people and taking things and implementing it. When a lot of people get to not even at your level, but maybe they're kind of close to that, and they know some things, they get very set into their thing, and that's all it is. This is my way. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to talk about anything else. I'm not going to add into what I'm currently doing because what I'm doing is currently working. But you're continuing to build with all these other people's, you, obviously yourself, but this input from all these other people, and that is something that's why I love podcasting here, because we get people like you and all these other individuals come in and they show show us all these really cool things that we add into our systems. And it's just like, it's great to see you doing that currently.
Well, you can relate because you were doing my program before I even came here.
Oh, yeah.
So you can relate to that mindset. It wasn't, oh, that's interesting, but I'm cooler, so I'm not going to do that. And Mark is the same way. And I think it's because we can't lie to ourselves. And so I can't lie to myself. So 2 days ago, Mark comes up with an innovation that I think will go down as the most important knee innovation this year. Not from Knees Over Toast guy, from Mark Bell. But what's my goal? I'm just trying to help people. And I'm not going to lie to myself. And if I look at that and I go, well, Mark came up with that, so therefore I'm going to say that's nice, but it's not as good as, everything I have. That's another tool in the toolbox. Mark just powered me up and made my program better. But I've also attached myself to my program where I market it myself. It's my dunk out there. I had some crazy NBA success stories last year that you will never hear about.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be my dunk. And what's on my app is what I'm doing this week and what I'm doing next week. And so it keeps me so attached to it. So when I see something like that, it's not, oh, that's different. It's boom, that can make my program better. I can't wait to shoot this, film it, have it on my site, my app. That just made me better. That just made me able to get better results for my clients. So it's that kind of attitude. It's not me versus other people. It's me with other people. So credit to Mark for powering up the program.
Why do you think maybe, and I know I usually speak on your own behalf and say, hey, this is what I've done, rather than saying, hey, I think you should do this. But what are some reasons why you think someone should maybe look into cutting out at least some entertainment?
Well, in today's world, there's a lot of really good entertainment and there's a lot of really tasty food. And some of that entertainment and some of that food is making it harder to get to our goals. So if we want to get to our goals, and you guys see I'm a math guy, I need to be able to measure every exercise in some way. I'm obsessive about numbers and measurement. So if you're trying to get closer to your goal, I can ask someone these questions. What do you want to get lucky about? Why? What entertainment are you going to cut out? What tech are you going to focus more on? What food are you going to cut out? What food are you going to focus more on? And number 7, what's your sled? Because I find that gives you momentum. You know, you go to a sled workout, you don't want to go eat junk after that. But you can do it often.
Right.
So those 7 questions give me something measurable that someone now is putting energy more on what they want and less on what they don't want in life. So it's not that the cookie is not delicious. It's not that Seinfeld isn't a great TV show. I love that TV show.
Yeah.
But by cutting out the cookie in the Seinfeld, I'm simply telling the universe I would like more success along this line. I can't lie to you. You can lie to yourself. We're all lying to ourselves.
Yes.
I want this so bad. Only I'm spending $1,000 a year telling the universe I actually don't want it.
And you have to understand too, like when someone, everyone has their life and their struggles and what they have to do. So if you're already working a 9-to-5 job and then you go home and on the time that you can be getting ahead and beating out the next guy, you're sitting there watching TV and then you're binging and then you're this or whatever. Then you're even more tired because now you stayed up super late because you just watched TV and you got nothing done in that time. And then now you're drinking coffee in the morning and then you're sucking at every single day as like a spiral.
Yeah.
When if you stop that, start your own little business, work super hard that night, read books, whatever you're actually trying to do, study your craft, then you also fuel yourself, I feel like, with the motivation and the production and the attainment of whatever you're getting out of it. And then it's just, now you're pumped for the next day. You go to your 9-to-5 job and you can't wait to get off to continue doing whatever you're doing to better yourself and better your life. And then you can actually get ahead and get out of this wild game of life, and set yourself up for a better whatever you're trying to do. And then focus on that. If it's your own online business or if it's, your own fitness or whatever it is, you just have to be able to get ahead. And I feel that's the same thing with everything. Like I act, and to me, my idea of an actress is you just have to be more persistent than everyone else because everybody else at some point is going to give up. Not everyone else, but I'm just saying the people that are going to make it are the ones that are just going to keep going and keep going and never give up. And at some point, it's going to work. And that's my kind of philosophy. And anyway, however you do, you have to supplement your money here. You have to do this, you have to do that. And then if you decide to change your own path because of a specific reason, that's different than just like I gave up because I couldn't make it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's I just wanted
amazing,
to
babe.
add that, you know.
She's often got the baby nursing on one boob. She's really business passionate now and making our business the best it can be. And she
That's
has
right.
been for quite a while. She's got the baby nursing. She's on a phone call that, all these business phone calls that I would never want to have to take, doing all the hard work. But what I was thinking about while you were saying that is you can slingshot your progress in life.
Yeah.
And then you actually could have more time to focus on what you want to.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a slingshot to then have a better rest of your life, because modern life is kind of set up to keep us on this wheel that it's
is.
hard to ever get happy. I actually think Mark, what would a natural life be? You'd have your family, but you'd also have a tribe. You'd have this great community around you. You'd be very physically fit. You'd be eating natural foods. That's the baseline of what human life is supposed to be. Someone who has that now, less than 1 in 100 people have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can be hard to get to that kind of a life when you're still stuck in that rat race and you're still stuck. I think addiction is a big word on the technology.
Yeah.
Before her, I was addicted to pornography like pretty much any guy that I knew. So, and even before that, I had a little bit of a video game addiction.
Hey, what'd you play though?
I didn't
I'm
even
sorry,
know this.
just curious.
I liked Madden.
She's like, what the fuck?
I didn't even know he ever played video
I
games.
liked,
gross.
I liked NFL Madden.
Who am I with?
Yeah.
Oh, Madden football is great.
Yeah. These things are, they work at making us happy now.
Yeah.
But
It's
there's so
instant
many
pleasure.
of these instant
Yep.
happinesses that we know are making us less happy long term. And that's why I did the no entertainment, is trying to get out of that cycle, which at that point for me, I still felt like I needed a TV show at night.
I think that part is the most important part, the most important piece of what you're saying, because you recognize it as a problem for yourself. And other people, they are going to lie to themselves. They're going to be like, I don't have the same problems, man. I'm not addicted to porn. And meanwhile, they watch it every day.
It's true. You have to recognize it yourself.
You do
first.
have to identify it. But if it's not problematic and you feel like you're successful and you feel like you're pretty darn happy, then there's probably not a lot of reasons to just suffocate yourself with cutting off a bunch of things that you love. You really love your morning coffee, probably not a lot of great reasons to completely ditch it.
See, I still have that, Dick. That's a perfect example.
You know?
I still love my morning coffee.
Yeah. But it's a good idea if you drink a lot of coffee to cut it back or cut it out for a little bit, just to kind of see like what that does to you and for you.
Yep.
Then you learn. You're like, I really love my morning coffee. It's
Yep.
not really that big of a problem. I don't have to have it 17 times a day.
Yeah.
Those kinds
And
of
that
things.
is what he did, actually. He had it, then he stopped having it for 6 months. I don't know if you remember that.
6 months?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he decided he really wanted it again, and he did a bunch of research on coffee
Mm-hmm.
and espresso, and found out espresso actually has less caffeine than
Right.
coffee.
Well, in
and,
certain ways, I mean, depending
right,
on how,
he orders it. He orders a little tiny
Well,
shot.
now I have that strong coffee, which is 120 milligram.
That's
Yeah,
true.
if you do a single shot at Starbucks, it's like 75 milligrams. So if you
Yeah.
do an Americano,
I do a lower
right.
amount, but
Exactly.
it's because I felt like that was something that maybe does help me get a little closer to my success. But watching Melrose Place,
But
which
it's
I
also-
actually, we used to watch that.
Yeah.
And my personality by the end, I'm like, babe, we got to watch the next episode.
Right.
Melrose,
He
I don't know.
finished it without me. And he also finished Friends without me, and he also finished Seinfeld without me. So, like, it's not like he is used to
Exactly.
this. This is
I'm
all
not
in the
a
last
robot.
couple years.
You're
This is
mean.
Hold on. 2020,
All right.
we were watching Melrose Place when we just got to LA and finished that without me. And 2020 was also Friends. Also, so this is not just
In my defense,
yeah.
she liked to use the TV show to fall asleep. And when I watch a TV show, then I want to watch the next one.
Yeah.
Remember Dumb and Dumber when they get in a snowball fight? I picture
One of the best movies.
I picture you're that guy,
Taking
the
it too
snowball
far.
fight. Yeah, just totally annihilating her in the snowball fight. I want to mention something else too. I think that people maybe underestimate the amount of time that they're spending in this entertainment space.
Yeah.
Even something as innocent as like an hour a day, like it does add up over time, but it's probably, for being realistic, people are probably more in the 2 or 3 hour time zone for that.
Probably so.
And then you mentioned a lot of people having, kind of 9 to 5s or 40-hour work weeks are pretty common still, even though people work from home and stuff like that. So now if we have an extra 20 hours that we're devoting per week towards extra activities and stuff, it could be really pulling and making you feel like I don't have time for anything.
That's right.
And if you investigate it a little bit, it's not that you don't have time. I feel that people don't have direction.
Yeah, and they don't have the priorities straight, honestly.
Well, and a goal will help set everything. It will cause what I like to call a cascade of disciplines.
Yep.
You start thinking about waking up at 5 a.m.
Yep.
It's not going to be too long after waking up at 5 a.m. that you stop going to bed at 11:30.
That's 100% true.
It'll be,
Setting up these habits.
Couple days, couple weeks go by, and you're like, I got to get to bed. And you'll start getting in bed by like 9:30.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that's funny because I used to be the one hooked on the TV shows. She wasn't hooked on it. She doesn't have an addictive personality like that. Same with food. She could have like half of a cookie and be like, that was the best cookie I've ever had. And I'd be like, I just ate 6. I never in my life have I had half of a cookie that was really good. So, but now she wants to watch some of her favorite TV shows. And I'm the one like, no, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I have like a 30-hour day now instead of a 24-hour day. The point is it used to be addictive for me, and I managed to get myself off that hook. I do think, though, the best for someone is not going to be doing it the way I've been doing it of 365. I think if you set up something along the lines of, okay, if it's the weekend, we can watch a show with her. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, if it's the weekend, I can have an ice cream cone with my kid. So I went through this when he was 1. He doesn't want to go to the movies. He can't even talk yet.
Yeah.
He's not eating junk food yet. So I do think, I'm not saying it's best to do this 365 days the way I did. I think someone could set up their own schedule with it, but I do think you'd have to have rules. And I think for myself, I do think that'll be my rules as Onyx grows up. He'll know, like, awesome, like on the weekend, we can go out for ice cream with daddy. On the weekend, we can watch a movie with daddy. But during the week, I'm going to have to go on a walk with daddy. I'm going to have to go play sports with daddy. I'm going to have to do art with daddy.
Hey, what's happening with mommy?
Whatever you want to do.
Mommy's the queen.
Just kidding.
Mommy's always been the one wanting to do these kind of things. And I was the one wanting to veg out on the couch. So I am really, there's no way I would have gotten to this point if she hadn't already been that kind of, she's that stellar personality that already didn't want to be a couch potato and stuff like that and never got into any of the addictions that I did. So that helped me.
Babe.
It's the fact.
I think people need to pay attention to maybe how much it's costing them. How much does this cost you to, have an extra 20 hours? 20 hours, you multiply it by 4 and you end up with a full couple of work weeks worth of work that you never got paid for. So your cell phone your new iPhone that you got that cost $1,000 or $500, however much the thing cost, depending on your plan and all these other things.
Yeah.
It's costing you a lot more because the amount of time is money. And when you're spending a lot of time doing that, I mean, if you were to think, if somebody said, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pay you, 25 cents an hour to watch some of these shows and to mess around on your phone. You'd be like, what the fuck? I don't need 25 cents an hour. That's nothing. You'd be like, that's preposterous. I would not fucking do that. Are you kidding me? Like, they would laugh at you, right? Like, you're going to make this amount of money per week. You're going to make 47 cents a week. And this is how many hours you have to devote to that. You'd be like, that's not worth it. Why would I waste all my time doing that? I mean, even if somebody just said, hey, we're just going to, I want you to be in a room by yourself for an hour every day. Like, somebody wouldn't do that for money, right?
So true.
Because you would be like, that's a complete waste of my time.
Pat Roger family, how's it going? We talk about sleep all the time on this podcast. That's why we partnered with 8 Sleep mattresses. Now, this mattress is the Tesla of sleep. It's the Tesla of beds. Its technology tracks your heart rate variability. It changes its own temperature based off the way you sleep so that you get better sleep every single night. It is quite literally insane. Check them out. Andrew, how do they get it?
Yes, and before I do that, I wanted to let you guys know that you can actually set the bed to wake you up silently. I know that sounds weird, but actually the bed starts vibrating around your head and it doesn't wake up the entire house household the way my phone used to do back in the day. So now I just kind of have the bed wake me up silently, and it's amazing. You guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/power project. That's EIGHT sleep.com/power project. When you guys go there, you'll see a banner across the top saying that you're going to receive $150 off automatically. So again, that's 8sleep.com/power project to receive $150 off your Pod Pro cover or your Pod Pro cover and mattress combo. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Let's get back to the podcast.
I'm so sorry.
that's okay.
We're just
It's almost nap time.
No,
We've gotten some great data across.
I think we're good. I just feel bad, so I just want to let everybody know that we're trying to do our
This is
best.
Power
great.
Project first, man. I love it. Like, this is sick.
Well, before he goes, where did the name Onyx originate from or come from?
So right before the trip, we found out I was pregnant. We were in a store, and Ben is really great now at buying me things. We had no money before. So basically there was a gemstone bracelet, and it said Onyx, and there was different bracelets, and I saw what Onyx meant, and I was like, I could really use that. That's awesome.
What did it mean, by the way?
It means like unity. You should look it
Look
up
it up.
exactly. Yeah.
We
But
can never remember, but it's
I know,
awesome.
but it's
okay.
it's awesome. So I was like, I love that. And we bought the bracelet, and then that same trip the next day, I was like, I think I'm pregnant. And so I was like, yeah, I think there's no way that I'm not pregnant, basically.
He's also a very strong rock type
Somehow
Pokemon.
she knew. I mean, we'd been married already for a while, and then she goes, I'm going to go get a pregnancy test. She'd never had a pregnancy test.
Yep.
Goes and gets one, find out she's pregnant. Now a couple more years go by, and a couple months ago, she says, I think I'm pregnant. Goes and get a pregnancy test, finds out she's only done 2 pregnancy tests. Both times she knew, like, intuitively.
Yeah.
But maybe the fact she's gone so much of her life without all the entertainment, she's way more in tune. We were talking about that the other day.
That's interesting. Something that I don't need to like brag in any sense, but I can say it because it's true. I have never smoked anything in my life ever.
Wow.
I've never had a cigarette, and I've never had alcohol ever. I've never had a glass of alcohol. I've never been drunk
Wow.
ever. I've also never had antibiotics. So I'm pretty
Whoa.
like,
Nice.
Even with all the injuries you've had as an athlete. Never.
never.
That's amazing.
Never. So I'm pretty, I've also never had McDonald's, Coca-Cola, or Pepsi, but those are just random facts.
She's hardcore mentally disciplined. I think the skating, though, made her just... And as a skater, you're chasing perfection.
That's true.
So she has this quality. She chases perfection. Whereas I'm basketball, I just want to win by 1 point. I can make half my shots.
Yeah.
With you two, I really want to know, because you guys have been together for a long time. You've known him when he wasn't making as much money, when he wasn't as driven. Now you mentioned that you're also going towards being an actress, but both of you have created this ATG tribe,
Yeah.
right? And you're handling all the business stuff.
Yep.
So when did you realize that, and was it at the same time you guys realized that you wanted to do this stuff together, or did he start doing this and going down this hole and then you're like, I need to help you? Because now you're like a team, and it's kind of crazy because Mark and Andy too, like they've gone into their stuff, but she handles a lot of the business stuff. He handles all this video stuff, and it's just like, it's crazy how like you guys have been able to, both of you couples, been able to create such a cool thing together. And I think a lot of people maybe want to do that, but they don't know how they can join up.
Yeah. It's very interesting. So I was acting. Basically, ice skating was my everything. Then I got hurt. Had I had ATG, I would actually probably have done so much better. I mean, I was working on triples. My coach was the first man to land a quad in the Olympics. So that was my life, was ice skating. I wanted to go to the Olympics. I wanted to win the Olympics. So then I found acting for me was like my next best thing, because it at least gave me something to work for and do. And I did very well doing that from Clearwater, Florida. I starred in 2 independent films, which was pretty wild since that's not like a film industry really at all. Mm-hmm. And now I could still be crazy acting. I finally got myself to LA. We moved there, and I was like, yay. Onyx and I were in 1 film, actually.
Oh.
He has IMDb credits.
Whoa, okay.
He's better than me at a lot of things.
So we actually started, Ben and I, filming me ice skating. So I've been able to pick and choose. I don't have to just go to auditions and just take anything just because to pay the bills. Do you know what I'm saying? Now I can be what I want to do. And anyway,
She did love business though, and as
I love business.
As HEG started to grow,
Yes.
and she started to have really sensible ideas.
Yes.
Then it just happened naturally.
Yeah.
She has. I've always said that I hate business. I love just trying to help people.
Yeah.
So, but by working with her, that she's really loves the subject of business.
Yeah.
It's a perfect, it's a perfect match. And I thought we were too different, but actually the fact that we're so different makes it a much better team.
Yeah.
It's having, instead of two quarterbacks, you have a quarterback and a wide receiver. It just makes a lot more sense. So if someone's out there as a couple thinking, oh man, I don't know if we could work together. I love you, but I don't know if we could work together because we're too different. Maybe it's actually the right mix. And what happens? We're always working and it never feels like work. We don't work 40 hours a week. We work over 100 hours a week because we're together. So we're talking about the business. We might have an idea at any random time on the business handling. You see, so instead of that 40 hours and then clock out, or how about having to set up meetings? Well, we got to set up a business meeting. That takes so much time and you get so little done relative to the amount of hours on meeting up in a lunch meeting, and you drive there and you chit chat and you say, how's the weather?
Yeah.
This is the primary meeting.
And I gotta say, the aspect of like the two different personalities, we've compared it, like he said, to the quarterback and wide receiver, but we've also compared it to like a hammer and a nail. Like you need both.
Yeah.
You can't have two hammers and get the job done, or two nails and get the job done. So it's not that we agree on everything too. It's often disagreements, and we have to figure it out and work it out together, because he's bringing rightness in this view and I'm bringing rightness in this view, and then we have to really like hash out how is it gonna actually work. And
we both have the same viewpoint that if you want to be successful, learn from people who are having the success that you want.
That's true.
Not theorizing about it. So the day I met Mark, I went, man, I really hope this guy can be like a mentor for me. And now yesterday she spent the day with Mark's wife learning from her.
That's
and that
exactly
keeps
right.
it really simple, and it saves you years of mistakes. Just study people who are already having the success. You could already be watching them online. I learned a lot from Gary Vee, and I've never even had a text message to him or a DM to him or anything. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be lucky enough to have that person in your physical space. That you could just follow them online and study them online, and they could still be a mentor to you even if they don't know you exist.
So true. I've learned a lot from you guys, I gotta tell you.
good.
From you and your wife. I'm amazed. Ben said you were great. You're greater than...
She was.
Oh, thank you.
She was shocked.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we're going to have some dinner tonight. I think your dad's coming along for the ride too, right? Yeah. So
my dad's a hiker. So
he's in Tahoe,
the
right?
flight out here, I'll hitch a ride and go to Lake Tahoe. So we haven't seen him the whole time. He's been in Tahoe hiking, but this way he gets to, have a little time with Onyx tonight.
We'll get you guys out of here so you can get this baby maybe down for a nap or something like that.
He's fine.
Anybody else have kind of a quick one?
I actually did. I did want to talk about social media, but real quick. So it did take me a while to find the definition. I was like searching the wrong thing. So once I figured out that like the onyx, the stone, then I can figure out the stone and what that definition was.
Yeah.
So the onyx stone offers its bearer immensely powerful vibrations and of protection, willpower, focus, and strength. Many believe that the onyx is there to drive motivation and to continuously push you forward in your life. It activates your roots and solar plexus as well as your third eye chakras. So that was a mouthful, but that was a lot. It was hard for me to even find it because I'm like, I know it's a fucking stone, but what does it mean?
Yeah.
But I did want to ask because like for me, I've been very hesitant to put like videos and pictures of my son out there just because the internet it's the Wild West still.
Yeah.
But you guys have been like, Onyx has been in your guys' videos since like day one, and you guys have been totally fine with it. I guess what's your thought process about like, or not thought process, what's your feeling towards social media and like posting him and like having him on the table right now is hilarious. It's amazing. I have like one good camera shot on him, but like, how did you guys like come about like being okay with posting videos and photos of him?
I think honestly I had no choice. Ben just did it, and then did it again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
I can say this. I do ask Ben not to post like where we are just because I would like some privacy. but Onyx has just been there since, like, there's no turning back at this point. You know, this is my kid.
Mark said it, you weave it into your life. So he said that on yesterday's podcast.
Incorporated,
You what, social media or
No, just your family.
Oh, but he was asking, I thought, specifically on like
social media, just 'cause
social media and showing Onyx's face. A lot of people don't want to show their kid.
And I'm saying right now, Onyx is on one of the biggest fitness podcasts in the world.
Yeah.
And he's right here on the table.
He's literally on the podcast.
But I'm also getting more time with my son.
Yeah, he just with you. Yeah.
I think it's because on my end, I don't take life that seriously.
Let's go.
I have a few stable things that guide me, but I don't take this seriously. No one's going to care. You know, I don't care what people think about me and stuff like that. And I want more time with my son.
Yeah.
So,
but I do get what you're saying.
Yeah, because
and basically that's his viewpoint, and there was nothing I could do about it. So Onyx is in the stuff, and now I just call us a squad, like we just all roll together.
I'm rarely recognized by myself, but when I'm with him and her, people are spotting me all the time when I go out in public. So there's our little trio. Clearly, we're on social media a lot together.
You dumped water on Jesus's head.
I also want to be I want to be a role model for. My dad was super active in my life, so now if Onyx wasn't with me and around, that would be very different than how I grew up. My dad was so active in my life. I don't know if he ever missed a basketball game and stuff like that. So
he's eating Jesus's head.
I've seen some very successful people on social media, and I see how I want to emulate them and be like them.
Yeah.
So the amount of people I've had reach out now that the dad goes, wow, I wouldn't have known about that tip of taking my baby for walks if I hadn't seen your posts.
I love that.
That makes it worthwhile right there. So I'm going to continue to try to be a role model as a dad and use that on social media. I don't think we're using it in a weird way. It's just he's just a part of our life.
Yeah.
And if there's things I feel strongly about as spreading that positivity that it's okay to be with your family and show your family and spend time with your family, and you don't have to only be on your own as some super entrepreneur in your private helicopter to be cool. Yeah. To me,
and I appreciate that very much so.
This is more memorable for me than if I had a private helicopter.
Yeah.
You know, these are the priceless moments with my family. Seeing Mark Bell hold Onyx today, stuff like that. Yeah. That's the stuff that I'm going to remember. What if Onyx wasn't here? He wouldn't be having that moment.
Yeah.
And then what about like with everything you guys have been doing, like outside influences? I mentioned on one of the podcasts how like people keep wanting to give my son like sweets and stuff, but you guys are like, hey, not only we're not doing sweets, but like we're not doing entertainment, but like I don't know, it's just like family come over and like how are you like stiff arming everyone to be like, no, this is like how we live and like this is what we do.
I mean, in our case, we actually give him full spectrum.
Yeah.
Like he is allowed to watch a little kid's show, and there's no restrictions on this guy.
Yeah.
He's doing his own thing. I'm going to try to set an example.
Yeah.
But I do know what you're saying with outside influences. I think because people know we're so like rock hard, they're not going to mess with it.
I think, for example.
Well, her particularly, no one's going to. Our family knows to not mess with Alissa.
Look at this kid's sitting position. It's beautiful, those hips.
Yeah, no, he
moves so well. Mark knows that I cannot skip over this since you mentioned it. You were younger. You said you had a video game addiction and you were addicted to porn a little bit. And I'm just curious how you went about kind of stopping that or getting over that, if you want to go into that at all. Because I think a lot of guys have talked to us about that and commented.
I don't remember who it was, but someone made it clear to me that every time I'm watching porn, I am supporting that industry. And that hit me too hard, and I cut it out right then and there, and I never went back a day.
Literally cold turkey.
I'm someone who I feel very badly if I'm doing something wrong, and it makes me unhappy, and I just want to be happy, so I don't want stuff on my conscience.
Yeah.
So someone made that so clear to me, and however clear they made it, just that it wasn't even making me wrong for it, it was just stating the fact. And I have that, what's my greatest strength? My internal bullshit detector.
Yeah.
So the moment I realized, holy crap, every time I watch porn, I am putting energy to support that industry. And I just stopped. And I'm so glad I did. Yeah. And then, magically shortly after, I wind up in a relationship and we've been together for 11 years. I think the porn is a really tough one on a relationship personally.
Yeah. And one cool thing I've noticed about a lot of the stuff that you guys have been talking about has been like you guys set your mind on something, the decision is made. It's not like you're teetering, right? It's like you make a decision to no entertainment, no entertainment. You make a decision to do this with nutrition, do this. You make a decision not to go around, like you do it. There's no dip your toes in there and see how it is. It's like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing thing.
I think that's
He's
kind
like,
of,
what are you doing?
you're so right actually on spotting exactly that. It's like a decision and then you do it, but you're so right. So many people talk about like when they're going to do blah. I'm going to start this at some point. Like for us, there's really no like, it's just done.
Yeah.
And
Accountability. Last year, going no entertainment, the fact I told her I was going to do it, I didn't want to lose her respect. Whether she never would have said it, but if I would have caved, it definitely would have lost some respect since I said I was going to do it. So having a person with you who makes you feel accountable, whether it's a training partner or a friend or a mentor or your wife or whatever it is, I do think the accountability is pretty crucial. And I'm lucky enough to have a team now. We have this team with ATG. So also if I say I'm going to do something, I don't want to let all of them down.
yeah.
So I think you need to align yourself with some kind of support structure where you're not just living for your own personal interest, but you're actually trying to uplift your group. And so if you say you're going to do something, you're going to have to follow through with it.
Take us on out of here, Andrew.
Sure thing. Thank you, everybody, for checking out today's episode. Please make sure you guys like today's video and subscribe if you guys are not subscribed, and turn on all those notifications so you guys don't miss any more uploads. And please follow the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project on Instagram, at MB Power Project on TikTok and Twitter. My Instagram and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z. And Nsima, where can people find you?
At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, at Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. And like I just gotta say, it's been amazing, like meeting both of you and seeing how well you are together. It's my relationship goals right there. Both you and her, Mark and Andy. It's beautiful. Also, I vote on the name Steelix if it's a boy. And where should people find you guys?
You got to save that for your kid. Your kid is, that's going to be a great name.
It's the evolved version of Onyx. Steelix.
Knees
Pokemon.
over toes
like
girl. I'm going off social media now. We're just running the knees over toes girl page. So, and knees over toes baby. No.
Actually, someone has knees over toes, baby, and they tried to sell it to me. Yeah.
Fuck them.
Cut that out. And where do they live? I have teammates now.
Let's go. I'll choke him out.
Your next kid could be what, like Tibialis or something? Popliteus.
No.
Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch you guys later.
Thank you both.
Fastest medialis Patrick.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.